Yes.
Hey, what do you mean by a self-paced course?
Well, the course material is available in the form of video lectures. And there are multiple practice problems that come along as well. So, you can access all of it anywhere, anytime. And they are available to you for lifetime.
No way.
Oh, yes, way. Don't delay and enroll now.
Geeks learning together.
Hey geeks, Akshay this side. Really sorry, yaar. There was a technical issue. My internet got stuck, and it couldn't. I couldn't, start at that point. After that, anyways, welcome everyone for another session of live mock interview. Today, this interview will have a mix of C++ fundamentals and DSA questions. And Dhananjay would be interviewing a student whose name is Diksha, and I'm very excited about this live mock interview. And let me, without delaying any further, let me tell you more about the student. So her name is Diksha, and she is from Ishan College of Engineering, Agra, and she is pursuing her computer science, and she is in second year. You already know about Dhananjay. Dhananjay is an in-house course mentor at Geeks for Geeks, and he has 4+ years of competitive programming experience with a code force rank of 1870. So let me invite them, and obviously before that, hi Shubham, thanks Sahil, hi Sagar, hi Nalopo. Keep engaging. Hi Satvik, thanks. Anyways, I'll invite them. Let's start the session. Hi Dhananjay, how are you?
Hi sir, I'm good sir. What
अभी
about you?
दीक्षा का ये लोड हो रही है अभी वीडियो है आई थिंक ये टेक इशू अभी मेरे को भी हो गया था बट ठीक है वी कैन वेट फॉर अ मिनट एंड देन विल स्टार्ट है ना दीक्षा यू कैन जॉइन अगेन इफ पॉसिबल वेट करते हैं थोड़ा सा Keshav, if you want to come in this interview and volunteer for this thing, then you can send your resume to akshay.bhaskar@geeks.org. My team will get back to you. शिवम I already mentioned. मेरी email ID पे भेज देना. Hi Diksha.
Hello, sir.
Hi, no issues. I understand technical issue is there, so I also went through that. So without delaying any further, Diksha and Dhananjay, I think I'll remove myself from the scene. Dhananjay, you can take the lead and start the interview process. Okay? Great.
So, hi Diksha, how are you?
Hello, sir. I'm good.
Okay, is my voice perfectly audible?
Yes, sir. You're perfectly audible.
Okay, great. So, how was your day? And tell me something about you, about your college journey, and something about that.
Okay, so I'm from at this time I'm from BTech second year. This is my fourth semester, and I have pursued engineering from Ishan College of Engineering that comes in Agra region. So this is all about a brief intro.
Okay, so as you're aware that this will be a DSA round, a proper
Yes, sir.
DSA round. So I would like
Yes.
to know that in which language do you have a proficiency, and how much will you rate yourself if I give you a scale of 1 to 10 in the DSA?
Okay, so I want to continue in C++, and if I have to rate myself, then it is something around 6 to 7.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so that sounds good to me, right? So now moving on to the DSA questions, right? So my
Yeah.
first question to you is it will be a pretty simple question, correct? So my
Okay.
first question to you is okay. So you are given basically two strings, right?
Okay. So
So let us name the string as S1 and S2, right?
okay. Okay.
Initially, both the strings are equal. Equal means both of them have same number of characters, right?
Okay.
Now, in the string 2, I add a different or a new character to it, right? In the string 2,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
and I jumble up the string 2.
Okay.
Okay. Now you have to find which character I added to the string 2, right? So
Okay.
I think that it is becoming pretty much complex. So I will depict a test case for you, right? So let me know when my screen is visible, right?
Okay. I think so. There might be network issue because sometimes your voice is lagging.
Okay. Okay. So let's see how it goes, right? If something comes up next time,
Okay.
we'll
Okay.
see it. Right? Okay, Diksha. So suppose I gave you a string, let us say ABC, correct?
Okay.
And now I had another string ABD or
Okay.
ABC, right? Both of them are initially equal. Now I added a character D to it, right? I added a character D to it to the string two, and then I jumbled up this string. So this string became something like A, D, C, B, right? Now you have to find in which character is added to this string. That means this string and this string. So basically, in the input format, you are given this string and this jumbled up string, right? After adding the character. Perfect.
Okay.
Now you
Okay,
have to
sir.
find which character is now added, right?
ओके सो आई थिंक कि हम पहले कंपेयर करवा सकते हैं स्ट्रिंग्स को और जो भी स्ट्रिंग अगर जहाँ पर भी स्ट्रिंग हमारी इक्वल नहीं होगी लाइक सबसे पहले हम जो स्ट्रिंग इनपुट करवा रहे हैं उसको स्टोर कर लेंगे किसी भी वेरिएबल में फिर हम उसकी कॉपी क्रिएट करेंगे और जो स्ट्रिंग है उसको हम कंपेयर करवा सकते हैं मतलब जो सेकंड स्ट्रिंग आपने S2 एंटर करी है उसको हम
Hmm.
कंपेयर करवा सकते हैं और जो भी कैरेक्टर डिफरेंट होगा दैट्स द कैरेक्टर दैट यू हैव एंटर्ड इनटू द स्ट्रिंग
Okay, so how will you find out which character is different?
सो okay. So I have to code it.
Yeah, no, first of all, tell me the approach. Your approach is correct, right? You are telling me that you will be iterating both of these string, right?
Yes, sir.
I have a question here also. Apart from that, I'll be asking you this question, right? Now, my next
Okay.
question to you is how will you check whether that character is different from that previous one? And
By
my first doubt is that both of the strings do not have equal sizes, right? One of them is greater than by other than by one, correct? Now, how will you
okay.
iterate both of these strings simultaneously?
सर फॉर द फर्स्ट स्ट्रिंग आई कैन यूज स्ट्रिंग डॉट साइज तो वो फर्स्ट के लिए हो जाएगा और सेकंड जो है उसका साइज पहले से ही ग्रेटर होगा तो वो उससे
Mhm.
ज्यादा ही ट्रेड करेगी आई थिंक क्योंकि पहली वाली
No,
छोटी होगी.
that's correct. That's correct. But you will be for checking the character which is different one or not. You have to simultaneously iterate both the strings, right? That's how you can only
Yes.
compare them,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So my question to you is that how will you check which character is different?
Okay. So for that, what we can do? Can I use notebook and pen?
Yeah.
Okay. अगर हमें चेक करना है फिर हम चेक की कौन सी स्ट्रिंग पहले वाली से क्रिएट होगा तो इसका साइज है 3 इसका साइज है 4 तो स्ट्रिंग
Diksha, is there any other approach coming to your mind apart from this one? Something like hashing?
Yeah, we can also use hashing क्योंकि उनके
So
पास
how will you
different
do that?
hashes होंगे, hash codes.
Okay. So what will be the
But I
approach using
wanna
hash?
use this. But I want to use this one as the previous one.
Okay. So do you think that it will work perfectly fine?
I think it might have some problems. मतलब complexity वगैरह हो सकता है.
Okay. So that's why I'm telling you. Is there any other approach coming into your mind? Because I can sense that the first approach will, there will be some edge cases where it will fail, right? So that's why I'm
Okay,
telling
so
you. Can you move
hashing
on to
is
the,
the
yeah. So what will be your approach of hashing?
so उनकी hash codes को हम check कर सकते हैं.
Uh,
मतलब match
no,
कर
like
सकते हैं.
basically, can you tell me the approach from the beginning? Like, what will you be doing with the hashing?
I'm not comfortable much with the hashing, so I don't want to use this concept.
Okay, so do you know what is hashing actually? You know, what's the purpose of hashing?
हम अगर हमें स्ट्रिंग्स या फिर स्ट्रिंग्स के अलावा कुछ भी जो हमारा इनपुट होता है, अगर हम उसे स्टोर करना चाहते हैं तो हम उनको एक यूनिक एड्रेसेस डिफाइन करते हैं, जिसे हम हैश कोड कहते हैं. तो जो भी डेटा, जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल इफ वी हैव अ डेटाबेस, तो डेटाबेस में एक स्पेसिफिक मेमोरी लोकेशन पे वो एक स्पेसिफिक हैश के साथ स्टोर होता है, और हम जो हैशेस है उनको यूनिक रखने की कोशिश करते हैं ताकि वहां पर कोलिजन्स ना हो.
No, I'm just the concept you're telling about hashing is correct, but the concept of hashing which I'm talking about is just about the frequency count, right? So the purpose of hashing we use is just normally storing the frequency count of each and every character, right? So the approach is that what you can do. There are two approaches to solve this question, right? The first approach is that you can use hashing, but it will be a trade between the time complexity and a space complexity, right? So you will be utilizing an extra space, correct, of size of 26, correct. Now what you
Okay,
will be
okay.
doing, you will be storing the frequency of each character in both of the strings, and after storing the frequency you will be iterating the hash correct or the hash table, we can say, and you will be finding which character is missing from them. Perfect. Now any other
Okay.
approach apart from this hashing without using any extra space? Can you think of, okay, suppose, let me ask you a question, right? You have two different, you have an array of duplicates, correct, and only one character is unique. So how do you find that?
Okay. वी कैन डू दिस थिंग बाय एक्सॉर, बिकॉज अगर हम उनको सम करेंगे तो कैंसिल कर देंगे एक दूसरे को, क्योंकि एक्सॉर में अगर हमारे पास जब हमारी वैल्यूज डिफरेंट होती है तभी आउटपुट 1 होता है. सो वी कैन डू दिस थिंग बाय बिट मैनिपुलेशन.
Correct. Now can you use because the logic you said here is that when the both the letters or the characters or
So
the
I think there
quantities,
is network issue.
uh, now is my voice audible? Akshay sir, is there any issue with my side or her side?
Diksha, I think her side, yeah, उसके side से issue लग रहा है मेरे को, क्योंकि I can see your video very clearly. Hmm. Yeah, Sunny. That's okay. I think she'll join again. I'll ask her to reconnect.
Yep.
मैं remove कर देता हूँ अभी. C++ fundamentals also we'll ask him. Better I think, है ना? Mute पे है.
हाँ सर, वो तो मतलब we'll have some of them.
I think pixels are not getting spread, right? मतलब मेरे pixels नहीं फट रहे ना, मेरे पीछे गाइस ग्रीन स्क्रीन मैंने लगाई है बाय द वे, आज ऑडियंस में बताता हूँ सबको, ये पीछे थोड़ा चीजें थोड़ी कूल लगे तो बता देना कैसा लग रहा है यार तुम्हें, अच्छा लग रहा है, बुरा लग रहा है, बुरा मत बोलना बस, ठीक बोल सकते हो, दो ऑप्शन है, ठीक है अच्छा। you know, yeah, okay, Diksha is here, see, I've also put a filler and Diksha is there. Okay, I hope internet issues. Keshav, thanks man. Oh Rohan, thanks Guru. Oh
I'm
thanks.
sorry for the interruption.
No issues Diksha,
No
we
issue.
had
All
some
good.
fun. चलो ठीक है, कंटिन्यू करो.
So yeah, Diksha,
Yeah,
where
as
were we?
to
Yeah,
आप
continue.
बोल रही थी कि अगर हमारे पास काफी डुप्लीकेट्स कैरेक्टर है उसमें से यूनिक फाइंड करना है, so we can XOR them, we can do this thing by bit manipulation. So if we
Correct,
XOR
correct.
them,
Right. So you know the concept of XOR, right? Now, what did you
yes,
said that just earlier you said that if we have same quantity or same entity, then XOR will be nullifying each of them, right?
yes sir, yes sir.
Now, what does the question said? The strings will be having same character, right? Only one character will
Yes,
be
sir.
different. So can you use XOR?
Yes, yes sir, we can do this thing.
So can you write down the code for me?
Okay, so I have to share my screen for this, so can I?
Yeah, correct, correct.
Okay. So, sir, is my screen visible to you? Okay.
Yep, yep. Disha, you can assume that you have strings. You just have to write the helper function or the main function that will be returning the character which is added to the newer string, right? No issues with that.
Means I have to make the function, different function.
Correct. No,
Okay.
you just have to write down the code for the main function that will be returning me the character which was extra in the new string.
Okay.
Only
okay,
that. No need to take any inputs or driver code.
Okay.
Yep. Diksha, can you zoom in your screen a bit?
Yeah, sure. Is it enough?
Yeah, it's great. Carry on.
Okay.
Okay, Diksha, I'm getting your approach, but can you sense the error here? What error will you fetch?
Yeah, I'm trying to find. The specifier. Okay.
No, not that one, not that one, not a typo one. There is a logical and a a semantic kind of error, not a syntactical one, a semantic one.
Okay.
That will give you out of bound or segmentation fault.
An identifier. Yes.
Okay, so can you sense here that
Yeah,
both of the
actually, I'm
strings?
using keyword there.
No. That I'm not talking about that typo kind of error, right? Or any kind of identifier. There is a logical error, right? The error is that you can sense here that both strings have different sizes, but you are
Yeah.
iterating till the
String 2 dot size, just because string 2 is greater than string 1. That's
greater,
why.
correct? It's greater, right? But what
Yeah.
if you are at the end of string one, and your ith the next iteration will be for the for the greater string, right? But there is no index for the first string, which is shorter one. So that will give you a segmentation fault.
Okay.
So it will not work. Okay, Diksha, no worries. So let me tell you the correct thing, right? How it will correctly work. So what you will do, you will take a a character variable. Now what you will do, you will use two loops independent or individually for each of the string.
Okay.
Okay, so in
Okay.
that manner it will perfectly work, right? So that was the main issue where people get stuck, right? Okay,
Okay.
so this one, right? So I want to ask you a follow-up question of this one, right? Suppose
Okay.
I give you a question that I give you a number n, correct?
Okay.
And by the number that n, I give you an array that will contain. I can say that that was supposed to contain all the numbers from 0 to n, but
Okay.
the array have only n minus 1 numbers. Fine. Okay, I'll share my screen it to you, right? So you can understand it better. What I'm trying to say here is that suppose I give you value of n equal to 3, right? So what I said, if I give an array of the array element should be equal to 0, 1, 2, and 3. But what I did, I just erased one of the elements, right? I erased one of the elements, and I didn't tell you anything about it, right? Now you have to find that missing element. So for example, this was the correct array or the ideal array that should be there, but the array is now modified to something like this. I can say 0, 1, and 3, right? Now 2 is missing. You have to find that 2 number, and the array given to you is this one, correct?
Okay.
So how will you do that? I hope the question is clear to you.
Yeah. Can you please share your screen again
Yep, sure.
with that question?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So the input is this array. You have to find, and you are given an n, right? You have to find the number which is missing.
वी कैन डू वन थिंग. हम इसके लिए एक काम कर सकते हैं कि जैसे हमने इंटीजर्स का है तो हम एक और एरे क्रिएट कर सकते हैं विच इज हैविंग द
Okay,
साइज
I put your
64.
constraint. I put your constraint. You don't have to use the extra space because logic you're trying to explain me. I'm getting your logic, right? So what you will be doing that? Tell me if I'm wrong, right? So what you're trying to do is that you will be creating a new array, right?
Yes, sir.
And you will be storing all the numbers from 0 to n because I gave you n. But I don't want that logic because that is a pretty naive approach, right? I want something else or in constant space.
Uh, okay, so
I'll tell you again. It is a follow-up question, so I hope you can get a hint from the word follow-up. No, in the previous question and this question, there might be some similarity.
हमें मतलब वो नंबर फाइंड करना है ना जो मिसिंग है.
Correct.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah. Correct. What you're saying is perfectly correct, right? You got the question correct. Diksha, are you able to hear me?
So we have to find the missing number.
Yeah.
तो ये कैरेक्टर्स का सॉरी ये इंटीजर्स का है, सो इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट कि पहले वो सम फाइंड कर सकते हैं और फिर जो आपने दूसरा एरे जो उसको जिसको मैनिपुलेट किया है उसको सब्स्टिट्यूट कर सकते हैं, एंड इन दिस वे
Okay.
वी कैन डू दिस थिंग.
Okay, so what you're trying to say is you know the value of n, so you will use the formula of n into n plus 1 by 2 to get the actual sum, right? And you will
Yes,
have the
sir.
sum of the array I have given to you, and you will subtract both of them, and you will get the answer. Okay.
क्वेश्चन तो
Okay.
हो गया ना.
Yeah, your logic is correct. Okay. So moving on to the next question, right? I will give you. Okay. Suppose you have a linked list. Correct. Am I audible, Diksha?
बहुत इश्यूज आ रहा है आज इंटरनेट का यार जाते यार.
Hmm.
सॉरी गाइस. ज्वाइन कर रही है वो भी.
Yeah, Diksha.
या नाउ
Don't panic. Don't panic. Okay. Things do happen in this online interviews, right? Don't panic. Okay, calm down. So the next question to you is, I give you a linked list, right?
ओके.
Have you heard of the question that you have to delete? You know, the classic question of linked list that you have to delete the node in a linked list, and in that
Yes, sir.
in that one you have given a head pointer, right? But now in this question, I will not giving you the head pointer, right? I will be only giving you the pointer to the node you have to delete.
Means location, right?
Location, no. Location, no.
Or number
will-
of the
No, not number of the node. I will give you the address of that node. Basically, if I give you the head, it is a node, right?
Okay.
It is a pointer to that head,
Okay.
right? Similarly,
Okay.
instead of giving you the head pointer, I will be giving you the pointer of that node that has to be deleted.
Okay.
Correct? So how will you do that?
We have given the address only, so we can we can check the address of its previous node by decreasing the address that you have given.
But how do you know? You know, how do you know that
Whether it is integer or
we can
float,
only
yeah, it's confusing.
okay. So do you know the difference between array and linked list?
Yes, sir. The array is a contiguous blocks of memory, and in linked
Correct.
list we have random addresses. So
Okay.
it's correct.
Now, since you know the logic that linked list is random, right? So like
Yes,
unlike
sir.
array, you can't subtract, you know, the integer size from the array and get the previous value. If
Yes,
it would
sir.
have been then the case, then there was no logic about linked list.
Yes,
So you
sir.
can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll share my screen. I hope that there is some doubt regarding the, you know, the input, I guess. Right. So clearing your doubt, I will be giving you, you know, you have to return the initial or the linked list which is formed after deleting that node, right? So you will be given the node or the address of that node, right? Now, I hope it is clear to you. Now you have to delete that particular node, and I have given you the pointer to that node, right? Instead of head here, I have given you node, correct? I hope it's now clear to you, right? So now, how will you do the deletion of that particular node if I'm not giving you the head pointer? Okay, I can feel that you're getting a bit nervous, right? Calm down, calm down. Tell me whatever is going in your mind, right? We will sort it out. We will discuss it out, right? No issues with that.
Okay.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. How would you have deleted that particular node if I would have given you the head node? How would you have done that?
If we want to delete that node, so we can at first we are traverse अगर आपने हमें head दिया हाँ तो we have to traverse from its previous till its previous location, and there is the address of the node that we have to delete. So from that node we can create we can fetch the address of the next node that is connected to that particular node that we have to delete. So at first we are
Correct,
going
correct.
to store the address into its previous node, and then we can
Correct,
point
That's perfectly correct, right? But now if I'm not giving you the head node, how will you reach to the previous of the node that you have to delete? That's the main issue right here.
If it is if it is doubly linked list, then I
No. It's just only a singly linked list.
yes, sir. There's network issue.
No issues. You're perfectly audible, right? So carry on.
Sir, now you are audible, but ago you are not.
Okay. So
Now you are
the linked list
audible.
is a singly linked list. You don't have a doubly linked list. You are given the node which
Yes,
has
sir.
to be deleted. You're not given the head node, so you cannot reach till the previous of the node that you have to delete. So how will you do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can I? Okay, if I give you a hint, right? So suppose if I'm giving you that node that have to be deleted, right? So with the help of that node, can you delete the last node?
Can you repeat again? Your voice lags.
I'm saying that
Still,
suppose instead of head, I'm giving you the address of the node that have to be deleted, right? So with the help of that address that I'm giving to you, can you delete the last node? I'm talking about the last node only.
yeah. Just because we don't have the address of the previous node, then we can do one thing.
Forget it,
That
forget it, forget it, forget it. Right? I'm simply asking you a question that if I'm giving you the address of any of the node in the linked list, with the help of that node, can you delete the last most node of that linked list? Forget head. I just wanted to delete the last node
we have to
with the help
delete
of.
the last node.
It's a new question.
Yeah, we can travel. We can travel.
Fine, right? Fine. So you can delete the last node if I'm giving you any of the address of the node of that linked list. Correct? Agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now can you
Yes,
use
sir.
this same logic for that the question for the real question I asked to you?
We can travel till the last location, and then we can delete just because it is the last node. So lastly it will store the null character, so we can travel before it and then we
No,
can delete it simply.
but I want to delete that node which whose address I have given to you. Right? It's not about last node now. I want you to delete the node of whose address I have given to you. Right? So how will you do that? Okay, I think you are a bit stuck of confused, right? So
Yes, sir.
what I said that to you. Suppose let me draw a linked list for you, right? And so on. Now, suppose I ask you to delete the node with value 3, right? This one. So what you can do simply here is that you can traverse till last, right? With the help of this node, if with the help of address of this node 3, you can traverse till last, right? So what I will do, one way is that I can swap the values with the next node, and by swapping I will make this 3 reach to 6 here, right? By swapping, just like the bubble sort. Correct?
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
since I have the pointer of this node as well, and I know that this value is at last, so I can delete that simply, right? This is one
Okay.
approach. The another approach is that what you can do simply, most of the people, this is a classic question, right? So most of the people know this concept, right? But they miss the concept here is that what I can do, as you said that to delete a node, we just have to point to the its previous node, correct? Now what I'll do,
Yes, sir.
instead of swapping it till the last, I will swap only these value, correct? And now
Yes.
since 3 is here, correct, and I'm pointing at this node, so this becomes my previous node for this one, right? So what I will do, I will just erase or just point the next of this one to this one. So some sort of so what will it look like? 3 will be deleted, right? 3 will be in the empty space, and it will be pointing to this only, right? So in this manner, 3 will be deleted, right? So this was the approach. Okay, so let's not talk about coding, right? I'm done with the coding questions. Okay, so I ask you a fundamental normal question.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do you think when you compile your code, the C++ normal code, what all
Yes, sir.
happens in the its backend?
Okay, so when we compile our code at first, it after compilation, the first step that gets executed is the सबसे पहले जो प्री प्रोसेसिंग होती है उसमें जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल इफ वी हैव इंक्लूडेड लाइक हैश इंक्लूड तो हैश डिफाइन सो एट फर्स्ट इट विल ट्राई टू कलेक्ट द इंफॉर्मेशन जस्ट लाइक देयर इज हैश इंक्लूड so it will try to collect all the element that are required to execute the code from the hash include and all the other elements that are required to execute the code. After then the second thing that it will convert the code into the assembly language just because our computer can understand the concept of zeros and ones only. So the second step is to convert it into
Wait a second. Wait a second. Can you start from the beginning because it just went like a swift. I didn't got any
Okay,
of the thing.
okay,
Explain it a
okay.
bit slower, right?
So the first step is to pre-process the code. In that step, all we have included, just like if we have included any header file like IOStream and all, like if whatever is included from hash include to hash define everything. So the first step is to include all the elements that are required to execute the code. So it will collect all the elements from the header files, and then the second step is to convert it into the assembly language, that just because computer can understand the language of zeros and ones only. So the second step will be it will convert it into the zeros and ones in the form of zeros and ones. Then it will make an executable file of the code, that is .exe file of the code, and then our code can run.
Okay. So do you think that any step is being missed?
I think linker and loader space is linker and loader step is missing. That is the third step.
Okay. So what does the linking phase does?
Linking phase, if we are using any third party libraries or any other libraries that are not present, so at first it will try to collect those libraries to make our code more compatible with the compiler.
Okay. So do you think that suppose is there any step called as compiler modification, or I can say that suppose if you pass a code, right? So the compiler by itself, just it just modifies the code to perform something better, right? For instance, if I tell you, right, what happens is suppose you are I told you to add 3 10 times, right?
Okay.
Now you can do it in this manner, like you will iterate from this till 10, right?
Sir, if you are doing
And
anything on the screen, then it is not visible.
okay, wait.
Now it
Now
is.
it's visible, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I was saying that suppose if I give you a number 3, right, and you have to add it 10 times. So one
Okay.
way you can do is that you will iterate till this one, and you will add in the sum value this 3, right? Now what your compiler does here is it will just skip this code and it will add a bit of another code into it, because it can understand that you are in the each iteration of this loop you are simply adding a similar value, right? So what it will do, it will simply do sum is equal to 3 into 10. That's
Yeah.
all, right? So this is the step that you were missing, because in the compiler like GNU and all, in the new updates of them, this thing happens, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Diksha, I'm done with everything, right? So do you have any questions for me?
I don't have any specific question.
Okay.
Actually, one question is there. So, what we can do if we want to achieve into the MNCs and really high companies, means high paid companies like Google, Microsoft. So, how we should train ourselves for them, and how Geeks for
Okay.
Geeks helps us. Like there are so many courses available on the Geeks for Geeks as well, and there are other websites also. So, what we can do, as I'm a student of second year, so what I should enhance to get into them?
Okay. So considering your current state, that is of second year, what I can suggest you is that okay. So I will merge the feedback into this part only,
Yes.
right? Okay, so considering that you are in second year, right? You are doing pretty good, but considering you in second year, there are some bits of things that are being missed, right? For example, up till second year, the questions of arrays, strings, and linked list would have been pretty much clear to you, right? But there are some the basics and the fundamentals that you miss. For instance, you said that we can traverse backward in the linked list, but the fact is that you can, because it is not contiguous, right? So I
Yes,
think that
sir.
you should revise the fundamentals again, not just learn all of them again, but just revise the fundamentals again, right? Because there is no point of moving forward with the gaps in your progress, right? So why I'm saying that, because you are still in the second year, you have ample amount of time. Perfect. So you can do that. Now, after covering all because the main point is covering your fundamentals and the basic perfectly, right? That's the thing. So you have to cover your fundamentals and basic. After you have covered your fundamentals and basics, as you said that the Geeks for Geeks offer you a lot number of courses, right? So there are DSA
Yes.
self-paced courses. That is the best course, and that's why its name also suggests that it is a DSA self-paced course, right? It will move forward according to your pace. Perfect. Now, if you're talking about the after you're done with all the DSA and all, right? Now, one thing come is that resume building,
Okay.
right? So after third year or till the last semester of third year, you should have some good projects and some hand-on experience of the projects that you have worked to mention in your resume. You should have some achievements and all, right? So
Okay.
after this, once your this thing is done, what you can do in fourth year is the knowledge you have gained till the third year on the last semester of third year, you have to brush it up. By brushing up,
Okay.
I mean that you should be always ready on your toes, that it might happen that the very next day of today, you can face the interview. So you have to be
Okay.
prepared by that means, right?
Okay.
And if talking about MNCs, right, if you're talking about like Amazon, JP Morgan, Microsoft and all, right? So their coding route is becoming harder day by day, because since this lockdown began, they understood that the competition is increasing day by day, right? So in the coding contest, the first round is of the coding contest. So they generally ask the CP questions in them, competitive programming. So you should have a bit of knowledge of competitive programming as well. Why? Because the main difference between DSA and competitive programming is that in DSA, they just generally ask you the direct question, right? As I gave you that you have a linked list and all. But what happens is CP, they give you a story type of thing, and you have to extract what algorithm, what data structure you have to perform,
Okay.
right? After clearing that CP round, the basically it goes on your resume, your performance and coding, right? So that will they will surely check your DSA knowledge, right? In some companies there are 2 rounds for DSA, like Amazon, right? And Microsoft also. So they will surely check your DSA knowledge, and by giving the feedback, you have to work harder, much more harder than up till you have worked now, right? And apart from that, you can also work, you have ample amount of time, so you can also work on your communication skills, because in this it's okay, no issues, right? But you have to speak in English. Sometimes juggling up to Hindi is good, no problem, but you have to frequently switch it to English again, right? So you can work on that thing also. Apart from that, everything is good, and you can also build up your resume a bit better, right?
Okay.
So that's all. I hope it's clear to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Dhananjay. Thank you, Diksha, for conducting this thing. And Diksha, all the best. I think Dhananjay has given you all the feedback, and it'll definitely help you to carve your journey further, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, are you fine now? How did you find the experience? Like, कुछ तुमने कहा था ना कि तुम्हें
Yeah,
learning experience feeling आ रही है वो?
yes,
ठीक है.
sir.
हाँ, बोलो बोलो.
I get to know more कि हमें क्या क्या करना चाहिए for getting into a good MNC.
ठीक है, चलो सही है दीक्षा. आई विश यू गुड लक. एंड धनंजय, थैंक यू फॉर ज्वाइनिंग. दीक्षा, थैंक्स अगेन. एंड अब मैं ऑडियंस से थोड़ी बात कर लेता हूँ, 1 मिनट, है ना? ठीक है, बाय. धनंजय म्यूट पे है तेरा अभी.
अच्छा, ओके, श्योर.
हाँ,
बाय सर.
चलो बाय धनंजय, बाय दीक्षा.
बाय बाय.
ऑलराइट गाइस, सो यार कमेंट पे तुम ये अब्यूजेस और ऐसे डेकोरम मेंटेन करके चलो यार. कुछ लोग लिख देते हैं, मेरे को ब्लॉक करना पड़ता है, बट तुम कहोगे गलत बात है, पर शुरुआत तो तुमने करी है. सो प्लीज यार, टेक केयर ऑफ द डेकोरम ऑफ द दिस चैनल. एंड वी कैन हैव फन यार, उसके अलावा भी हम फन कर सकते हैं ना यार, मतलब समझ रहे हो, टॉपिक्स में तो कर ही रहे हैं, वैसे भी हम चिट चैट करते हैं, तो प्लीज मेंटेन अ सर्टेन सैंक्टिटी ऑफ दिस चैनल प्लीज। हम बहुत वैल्यू करते हैं गीक्स की, सो प्लीज आप ये मेंटेन करिए एज एन ऑडियंस, थैंक यू। Also, if there are more questions, I think Dhananjay, you can connect with Dhananjay on LinkedIn for sure. Then उसके LinkedIn URL वो होगा कैप्शन में। थैंक यू सात्विक। ग्रीन स्क्रीन बहुत मेहनत करी है कल मैंने इसको सेट करने में। Anyways, bye guys, take care and stay at home, stay safe. This weekend we'll have a special webinar on few topics. Every weekend is for like a special topic, and Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday types will be in the evening slot will be kept for live mocks, and बाकी interviews और मतलब special webinars तो चल ही रहे हैं. So that's it. Thank you, Shivam. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Take care. And wish you good luck for future. Akshay Bhaskar this side, signing off.